And joining me now in studio is Ambassador Satybaldy Burshakov, the ambassador of Kazakhstan to Israel. Mr. Ambassador, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Maybe you could help us understand what's going on in your country. We know it began with some domestic protests over fuel prices and then seemed to develop in another more violent direction. I've read statements from your government also that you've provided that say, in part, this is due to foreign elements, even foreign terrorists. Could you explain that? Foreign from where? Who are these foreign elements that your statement is discussing?
Yes, as you mentioned, the protests began on the 2nd of January in the western region on the demand that they needed, they were against the high price of liquidated gas fuel, and President listened to the demonstrators, and he instructed the government to lower down the prices, and the government responded to the protesters' demand. Then, of course, he on this situation, President dissolved the government. So all the government ministers now and Prime Minister are acting ones, and we're happy that now the situation is stabilized these days. Today I heard a report from the acting Minister of Interior Affairs that the situation all over the country is stabilized. Now in the investigation operations going on with the detaining of those criminal groups and bandits who you may have heard, you may know that you followed, I'm very sure that, who burnt out mayor's office, administrative office, banks, robbed shops, and threatened to the life of citizens of Almaty.
Who was behind this? We did see those pictures, and we understand that that's different from what happened in the initial protest over fuel prices. Who is behind? Who is behind the violence? So
there is an evidence that it was well managed and well manipulated by some individuals or some groups, both locally and from outside, and they were well trained and well organized. Even seizing the airport, you can imagine 800 people were involved in seizing the airport of Almaty.
Right. Now you said it's some local too, and we have to note it's not only the people that were taking direct part in the violence that were arrested, but also some senior members of the government. The head of the government's intelligence agency was arrested. That's led to speculation that there's a power struggle going on in your country between President Tokayev and supporters of the previous president, Nursultan Nazarbayev. Could you comment on that?
Well, the official information that I have now, that chairman of the Security Committee, we saw National Security Committee, he was arrested by the reason of treason.
Okay.
The investigation is going on. So to your questions, I mean, who is involved? What citizens? Citizens of which countries? You will know very soon. Certainly there are citizens of foreign countries. That was released, the statement by police.
Okay, you don't want to name what foreign countries those were.
So, press and ministry officials were saying that foreign countries, some referring to neighboring countries, but let's wait for the investigations.
Okay, but there is a neighboring country that's taken part on the side of the government, and that is Russia, which has sent a few thousand troops, which have helped stabilize the situation. But is there concern about Russian troops coming into Kazakhstan, which is a sovereign nation? I understood your question. If you are talking about peacekeeping forces of the
CSTO,
Yes.
Collective Security Treaty Organization, where members also Kazakhstan, Russia, Tajikistan, Armenia, and Kyrgyzstan. So we are talking about several countries, not one country. And the peacekeeping forces now amounts about 2,500 of them in Kazakhstan, and they are mainly keeping strategic objects like mayor's office, like
airport,
maybe it's biggest banking offices. But they will stay, as President indicated, not for short period. As soon as the situation is stabilized, very short period.
Okay.
So yes, I know that there are some concern from abroad and locally, but President appealed to the CSTO according to its strategic documents, and he asked for the help in order to restore stability and order in Kazakhstan.
All right. Let me just ask you, there was a Israeli who was killed there. There are Israelis there. I should note the Israeli government said is not going to evacuate its citizens there. Can you tell foreigners in Kazakhstan the situation is stabilized, that they can feel safe in the country now?
Yes, President ordered the special forces to take care of diplomatic missions, foreign banks, foreign investment, and foreign business, so that they keep calm in this situation. So there is no concern about this.
Okay.
Yeah. So about the Israel citizen you mentioned, yes. I was personally involved last night, just sending a request to our ministry and the government to evacuate the body to Israel, because there was a request from his parents. They are living actually all in Almaty. Both his mother and father and two grandmothers and his wife, they wanted to come, but there is an issue with the airport now temporarily, because Almaty airport is closed, but partially it's opened. I think we will solve this situation, and we are doing our utmost to help his family, and I will take this occasion also to express my deepest condolences to the family of Israeli citizens.
Briefly, Ambassador Burshakov, your government and you acknowledge the initial protests were about fuel prices. Yeah. There's been criticism of Kazakhstan that resources are not fairly distributed in the country. Has these incidents led to ideas, calls for reform, some degree of economic reforms in the country?
Of course, as the President indicated, we should. This is a big lesson that we should learn out, and the President informed and declared that he will undertake political and economic reforms. But first he listened to the demands of the initial protesters, and he instructed the government to lower the price for the gas, for fuel gas, and he did it according to his strategy as a listening state. And also afterwards he dissolved the government. Tomorrow, President is going to speak before the Parliament to make a statement, official statement, and probably appoint a new prime minister.
All right, we'll have to listen to what he says there. Yeah. Ambassador Satybaldy Burshakov of Kazakhstan, thank you for joining us on I-24 News.
Thank you.